Now, these women here, I don't know if they're looking to make any sense. I think that they have their own agenda. I'm not going to really get into that on this video. These don't look like any type of woman that would find themselves in a relationship, in a marriage type situation where they would really need to do that. They're probably going to be single for a very long time.
Okay, this is strictly for the dudes. I just want y'all to know, like, I pride myself on being very independent. Like, I don't need anything from anybody. Like, I got this. So with that being said, if you see me at the gas station and you are interested in talking to me, maybe asking me for my number, the first thing you need to do is offer to pump this gas. Not pay for it, but pump it. Don't come over there talking to me while I'm putting in my PIN number, opening up the cap to my gas tank, grabbing the nozzle and pumping the gas, and think I'm about to sit here and have a whole conversation with you. And you haven't even offered to pump the gas for me. Like, what?
You know, when you're young, people tell you, don't do drugs. Drugs kill your brain cells. And you're like, yeah, right. Drugs aren't going to kill my brain cells. I'm going to be okay. How many brain cells can they possibly kill? Take me as your prime example that they do in fact kill your brain cells. I was a drug addict for several years, doing drugs very frequently, and literally I have like developed a stutter now. My brain moves so slowly. Most of the time, there's absolutely nothing going on up there. Like, sometimes people ask me, what are you thinking? And I'm just like, I simply wasn't. My brain is a graveyard. All of the brain cells are dead. I think there's more dead ones than live ones. I never realized how little game that I had with men until one time I was out at a bar with my friends, and I'd had a few drinks, and my ego was getting a little bit too high that night. And I think I was running a little bit low on money. I don't know. I just couldn't afford to buy myself drinks all night. Why did I go out? I know that was my fault. But anyway, me being dumb and having too many drinks already, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go find a guy that'll buy me a drink. But I didn't really want to put much effort into it. So I'm with my girlfriends, and I'm like, what should I do? How should I, what should I say? How should I find a guy? Whatever. So they point at this guy that was across the bar that was kind of looking at me. And they were like, you have to walk up to that guy. He's already looking at you, blah, blah, blah. He looks interested. And I was like, okay, what should I say? And I was like, should I just literally walk up and be like, you really look like you want to buy me a drink right now? And my friends were like, yeah. They were hyping me up so much. They were like, you have to say that. That's so perfect. It's not. But anyway, I got so much courage up, and I finally walked over to him. He was standing there with two of his guy friends, and I just tap on his shoulder, and he turns to me, and I was like, you really look like you want to buy me a drink right now. And you want to know what he said? He looks me dead in the eyes and goes, no, I don't. Oh, okay. Well, let me just go flush myself down the toilet or something. Jesus. My ego has still not recovered from that one.
So I read in the comments today on one of my videos, and it said that it's the man's job to provide. And I don't know if the comment was coming from a man or if it was coming from a woman, but I don't agree with that statement. I don't agree with it, especially if you're in a traditional relationship, man and woman, and you're leaving it solely on the man to provide, especially if the woman is anything like these women here. In a healthy relationship, it should be an equal responsibility for both halves to help provide, to do all they can to help one another succeed in the goal that is their lives, their family, their relationship. And that's the beauty. And relationships should be teamwork. And the beauty of that is that maybe when both sides are firing on all cylinders, everything is great. But maybe if one has some struggles or a speed bump or anything like that, the other one is there to help them along, pick up some slack, and keep it moving. But a blanket statement of the man is to provide. I mean, that's like, why would you limit yourself to be half of what you could be when you could both be working towards the same goals? Now, I believe that this comment was in reference to providing food, perhaps, maybe stockpiling and prepping and things like that. But I think with a mentality like that, you're limited on your growth, you're limited on your greatness, and you're definitely limited on the strength and just like overall, you're definitely limited on your relationship in general. If you have this, if you are thinking like this in your relationship, I do this, you do that, there's no in between, then you're making things more difficult for you and your significant other than they really need to be. If one person in the relationship is better at something than the other, then obviously it makes more sense for them to do that. Or if in a situation where this has come up a lot, these women, I don't know if they've experienced this, they look pretty young, but you know, in some relationships you look at it as, hey, we just had our first child, and you have the debate and contemplation of, should I go back to work and put the child into some form of daycare, or should I not and spend time with the child? Ultimately, because daycare costs so much, it kind of negates the going back to work. So, but you know, that doesn't just lie on the mother or the female in the relationship. If the husband, or if let's just say the female, the mother, the woman in the relationship actually was the breadwinner, go back to work. And the man or husband, if his income didn't exceed the cost of the daycare, then do your part, support the team, and allow the woman to go back to work to make the money, you know, versus just putting your kid in daycare only to work to pay for daycare. And it doesn't come down to, oh, the woman has to stay home. No, let's look at it from a financial standpoint of what makes the most economical sense in the situation. Now, these women here, I don't know if they're looking to make any sense. I think that they have their own agenda. I'm not going to really get into that in this video. These don't look like any type of woman that would find themselves in a relationship, in a marriage type situation where they would really need to do that. They're probably going to be single for a very long time. But, you know, to have a blanket statement of a man needs to do this or a woman needs to do this or that, like, expand your mind, open up the way you think, and don't be so closed-minded that you can't get out of your own way to help improve your overall situation of not just you. I put up the community post. The community post wasn't about me and putting somebody on the deed to the house. It was a community post that I found on Market Watch on Yahoo, and it was someone who posted that question. But some of the responses on that community post were like, holy shit, like, y'all, and the response coming from people in relationships and married couples, no, I'm not putting the other half on the deed. Well, why did you get married? Like, if you're so worried about them being on the deed to y'all's house and you're married, why'd you even get married? Like, what do you work? Like, what was the point? Because if you don't trust them enough to be on the deed to the house, why do you trust them enough to share, to legally bind yourself to them? Like, what sense does that make? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even want to say what I think on that one, but I think that there needs to be, especially now, more than ever, there needs to be a unified collective front, a unified collective agenda within relationships whether married or not, if you are truly in love with whoever you're with, and that's all that matters, it shouldn't just come down to you need to do this and I'll do that. Like, it's 2022, you know. Everybody in the relationship is capable of doing what everyone else in the relationship was capable of doing. And you need to play to your strengths. You need to support the other half's weaknesses. You should do this as a team. You should help each other. Now, more than ever, you're going to need it, especially with everything that we're facing. And there's more to come, worse than what we're going through right now. And to have to try to go through that with theoretically someone on your team who isn't playing to win the same game you're playing, then you're destined to lose.